Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Soul Work. We are live here on Shaw TV, and I'm your host, Jeni Cousins. And we are hoping to hear from you viewers tonight to give us a call. So, Calgary, write down this phone number, 403-539-6710, and make sure you give us a call. And my guest is eager to take some questions as well. So hopefully everybody had a great Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone. 2017 is a year of new beginnings. So 2016 was a year of release, goodbyes, completion, all of that. So embrace yourself for 2017. It's going to be a good year for everyone. Just hold the intention positive. And on tonight's show, I have my guest, as you all know, that I have a guest, and I want to welcome James Saito to the show. And thanks, James, for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. It's my first experience with live television, so it's
is it?
It's intriguing.
Well, not to worry about a thing. Mm-hmm. There's always the first time and new beginnings.
Yes, as you said, yeah, and the energies were such that there's been a shift. It was a time to basically release all those things that no longer served us, and to go forward, and with optimism in a world that doesn't look particularly optimistic at the current time, and just keep putting your best feet forward and moving along.
Yeah, because we are in the wolf moon, the Cancer moon, the night of the wolf. So for all of you, really take a look at the moon. It's outstanding.
It was the first thing I noticed driving down 16th Avenue this evening. I was actually driving down 16th howling at the moon, which was rather strange, and I'm sure the cars beside me probably thought so as well. But,
I never worry about that. I did that one night, and I just said, oh, my dog's in the back seat. So everybody, if you want to howl, go ahead and howl, is the bottom line of where it comes out to.
Sure, have fun with it.
Yeah, you never know what to expect. Expect the unexpected, as I call it. So, James, how long has your eyes opened and affected you professionally?
Well, I think this new journey of mine began probably about 2 years ago. I was experiencing long bouts of insomnia, to a ridiculous degree, and I still do to largely. I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 hours a week at times. So I've always had an interest in paranormal things and that sort of thing. So I would put on YouTube videos at night and I'd listen, and certain videos began to strike me as ringing true, and that kind of began a journey for me by listening to a couple of people I guess you'd almost call them conspiracy theorists. Simon Parkes, Alex Collier, a few of them, and their message was very genuine to me. And as I began to explore that down the road, I guess the veil came off. Mm-hmm. And so I started going down this rabbit hole, and over the course of the last couple of years, it's been remarkable. Mm-hmm. There's far too much to cover this evening, but it's been very rewarding, very interesting. A lot of strange synchronicity, a lot of strange happenings. Mm-hmm. Professionally, and I work in film and television. Yeah.
Because being a film and television producer yourself, and having that awakening of spirituality, but on a more deep level.
Well, I think if it's going to affect me in any way, essentially, I'm the vice president of a film division of a horror magazine, mm-hmm. and I've always been a horror fan, and lately that's gone. Mm-hmm. It's just gone. I don't think that I can produce outright horror anymore. I'll certainly go the way of horror comedy, mm-hmm. that sort of thing. And I'm not really sure who it was who said it. A quote that I'm going to give you. It might have been Gandhi. It could have been Charlie Sheen, for all I remember. But hate is not the enemy. Fear is the enemy.
Gandhi.
And there's too much fear. The media throws it at us continuously. And there's a reason for it, and we won't get into that here. But the reason why we're being inundated with fear continuously.
Yeah.
And I don't wish to contribute to that. I'll certainly continue to make horror comedy, lighthearted, more lighthearted, more entertaining on a broad spectrum. But as for making actual horror films with the intention to horrify people, we live in a horror movie. It doesn't need me adding to it.
Yeah, yeah. So was there something that just kind of gave you that, you know, sometimes people just kind of wake up and they feel different, or they just think, you know what, I just gotta do some soul searching or whatever. So was there something that kind of sparked something to kind of get you to go into a higher level of consciousness?
I wouldn't say one particular thing. It was a series of ideas that really resonated with me. And as I began to explore that, then the doors began to open. And to this day, every day there's something new that, because I believe as our frequency raises, the more we seek it out and the higher our frequency goes, the more we're just open and we're able to receive various things that we weren't able to before. You have your particular gifts, which I envy, because you have gifts that I certainly don't have.
We all have gifts, though.
Yes,
Each one of us have a gift.
And I know where my path lies.
Yeah.
You know, I've been able to receive information to know where I'm going this year, and it's I won't say. Well, I mean, basically, it's just an ongoing thing. There wasn't just a bang, aha moment, but the doors began to open, so to speak.
So, where do you look for resources on your journey?
Well, I think like everyone. I mean, if you want to research, and again, this is the first time I've ever sat down in public and started talking about this sort of thing. And
I always get people going, though.
Yeah, and I'm going to, you know, inevitably be branded as a tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theorist, whatever. That doesn't bother me anymore. There's a lot to be learned. I mean, it's simply going through YouTube videos. And that's where I began to learn. And then you'll be drawn to books by different authors. And things will, you know, your intuition will become very important at that point, and what rings true to you, and what, you know, areas that you should be exploring begin to open themselves to you. And your path in life, you're being given signs constantly. It's that most people just never look for them.
That's right.
They're not aware of them. So that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Is checking things out on YouTube, listening to podcasts, listening to the experiences of others. But there is also a lot of disinformation put out there purposefully. So one's discernment becomes particularly important at that point as well.
Because I always tell everybody, they said, where should I start? And I always tell them, go with what you're drawn to and what you're feeling. What book should I read? Well, what are you drawn to right now? You know, because you could go into a store and grab one book, for instance, and you could start reading something, and that little topic there could take you off to another topic over there, and then it opens up. Because when you're ready to explore, then things open for it.
Things are going to happen when they're meant to happen.
Yeah. You have to. I surrender everything. Yeah. Do you find that you're religious at all, or no?
Myself?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, not whatsoever. I find the term God, I won't use it, because the term God to me implies inherently worship. And one thing that human beings must never give up, or because they're essential to us, is our integrity and our sovereignty. Do I believe there's a creator of all things? Yes. Certainly. And I put it in such a way that the universe didn't create consciousness. Consciousness created the universe. So God really is an energy, a frequency. And we're all part of that. And it doesn't demand worship. It just demands that you be and be the best you can be.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you wanted, if somebody wanted to talk to you more, what would be the best way for them to get a hold of you, for instance?
Well, I find the easiest is just, I've recently put up a new website. And the idea being that sometimes when your eyes are opened, it can be a difficult transition, a difficult process. And some people don't always seek it. It just all of a sudden is there. And especially right now where a worldwide awakening is happening at an unprecedented rate.